Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Zeta that with growing concerns of imminent flooding in Jamaica, as well as a landfall in Cancun, and then eventually by midweek for the US. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be impacted from Zeta. So let's delve into the details. This is the afternoon update, and I wanted to come on board with the 5 p.m. advisory because it is stationary. It has grown to a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. But with it nearly stationary, I'm getting growing concerns in the Jamaica area. I've got a lot of followers in that area now. So I wanted to give you an update because I am seeing a lot of flooding rain continuing for the next 24 hours as Zeta doesn't look to move anywhere anytime soon. It'll eventually swing off to the northwest by Monday afternoon, get into Cancun, possibly making landfall as a hurricane by overnight on Tuesday, getting into the middle of the Gulf of Mexico by Wednesday, and then making landfall again in the United States, possibly in a weakening storm by that time into Louisiana, maybe Mississippi by 2 o'clock on Wednesday. So now let's take a look at the overall satellite picture, and this is what I'm really concerned about. I know in Jamaica you've had landslides, you've had a lot of flooding rains. I've been getting a lot of comments of all the rain, and unfortunately I do expect that to continue. What's happening is here is Zeta, and we've had a lot of dry air coming in from the northwest that has actually pushed the center a tad bit further south, but it hasn't really moved anywhere. The center keeps on technically getting relocated. And what you're seeing here is a dry slot here. But on the west side, we have narrow banding setting up and training thunderstorms, unfortunately, setting up over the Jamaica area. And that's why you're being inundated by torrential rains. And unfortunately, I do expect this to continue because now let's take a look at the guidance. Here's the latest sounding from Zeta, and there's been some initial shear going on right now, but that looks to subside this evening, and we could start getting into a period of intensification. And here's the probability guidance for rapid intensification over the next 72 hours. And you can see it could be possibly upgrading 25 knots on top of the 50 knots, 50 mile per hour. We have a 43% chance of that happening over the next 24 hours. But take your eyes down here. We have just in 48 hours, we have a 35% chance of it strengthening 55 knots greater than what it is right now at a 50 mile per hour hurricane. If that were to happen, we're talking possibly a borderline major hurricane by the time it reaches Cancun. So I'm looking at this as a possibility because 35% chance is not out of the question that this thing can't get its act together with shear subsiding over the next tonight and getting it into a more favorable environment for potentially strengthening, if not maybe rapid intensive strengthening. So that is a concern of mine. But another concern of mine is the flooding rain that is going on in the Jamaica area with this alignment with Zeta just not moving anywhere. And this, let me just kind of take you through the 6-hour time slots from the simulated water vapor imagery. This is Sunday afternoon where we are now being inundated with flooding rains. I know a lot of you guys are making comments and say, hey, it's just raining the worst I've seen since this storm has started over the last 4 or 5 days. And unfortunately, you're in an alignment of what they call training thunderstorms of those 2-3 inch rainfall rates per hour. That's what the atmosphere is capable of. Now let's take it another 6 hours. This will be overnight tonight, Sunday night, in the overnight hours. You can see the allotment of Jamaica. It's being still inundated with rainfall over the island. as Zeta really doesn't go anywhere. And if we take it another six more hours, this is Monday morning as you wake up at the crack of dawn. Look where Jamaica is. Look where all the rain is. I mean, this is just relentless. This is over a 12-hour span. You can see some of the darker, whites. These are cold cloud tops. This is an indication that Zeta could be a lot stronger at that point. But a lot of this convection is over water. There's no land here, right? And so, but there's land in Jamaica, and that's where the second setup, because this is stationary, and we've got this clear slot. You're getting the banding over Jamaica as well as the Cayman Islands. So unfortunately, this is setting up over your area. And if we take it another 6 more hours, again, it slowly starts to shift westward. But even by Monday afternoon, this is Sunday afternoon, so even 24 hours from now, you're still going to be locked into that training thunderstorms. Maybe the west side of the island might start to clear, but the east side's going to be, the west side's. The east side's clear, but the west side's, could be still locked in. But not until, as we take it into Tuesday morning, like overnight, Monday night into Tuesday morning, we may finally start to get a break in Jamaica as it finally starts to shift further away. That a lot of the rain start shifting into Cancun at that point, and they'll be dealing with the torrential rains, and you'll start to hopefully dry out by then for you guys in Jamaica. But now let's kind of take a step back. I mean, obviously, we've had just an incredible year for the Atlantic. Here's dating back from 1851, basically over the last 170 years. And you can see Zeta hasn't been updated on this chart, but we're pretty much matched the 2005 season where we had 28 named storms that year. And before that, you'd have to go back to 1933 where we had 20 storms. And before that, we'd have to go all the way back to the 1800s before we had 18 storms. So this is definitely an anomaly that we're getting so many storms this year. And unfortunately, we're not done because we're in a favorable pattern. We basically have a La Nina going on in the United States. We got very cold water in the equatorial region. And when you have years of a warm American multi-decadal oscillation index, with those two combination sets the stage for a very active hurricane season as less shear is present in the Atlantic. So now let's kind of take you through the names and look at the laundry list of storms, basically starting from Arthur all the way back in May. Came to fruition, and now we're at Zeta. You can see some of the bigger name storms. I know Laura has to be updated. This was rapidly intensifying as it was coming ashore, so it actually peaked at 150 for Laura. But yeah, you can see the laundry list of storms. The first name storms was Arthur back in May 17th, and we're all the way down to October 25th now. So we've been dealing with a very active season over the last 5 months. And unfortunately, the next named storm that is on the table that we might be having to deal with is Eta, and possibility we could be talking about that in the Caribbean again by the first week of November. So, man, that's the last thing you want to see, but unfortunately, that looks to be the case. So I appreciate you guys watching. You do be safe out there in Jamaica. Be sure to share with your friends in that area, and please like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next update where I protect you before and after the storm.